Hello everyone, my name is Mutaz Muhammad and I'm from Sudan. Today we will discuss a topic titled Ensuring Equitable Access to Genetic Service across different socioeconomic African groups, a part of the Policy Advocacy in Genetic and Genomic course organized by Pan-African PGS Education and Research Initiative. My colleague Bros and I will be in the Affirmative Team. So let's briefly discuss about genetic therapies. Its treatment aims to alleviate genetic disorder. It's operated by altering the DNA within the cell to restore the normal function. And commonly, there are many types of genetic therapies. Those are include gene therapy, which is involved introducing or removing genes to the patient cell. Gene editing, such as the CRISPR-Cas-based editing, involved altering, removing, or adding genetic material to specific location in genome to correct mutation. RNA therapy, and this involves messenger RNA, antisense oligonucleotide, microRNA, and small interfering RNA. Cell therapy, this involves transferring specific type of cell into the patient. The benefit of genetic therapy can lead to curing genetic disorder, personalized treatment, managing chronic disease, and efficiently act in a cancer treatment. The long-term viability and impact of the gene therapy with the lower middle-income countries is contingently upon the support and attention given to the issue of the below capacity pillar. Gene therapy capacity pillar including research and development, strong research and development, with the synergy between the academy and industry, the center to the long-term affirmability, sustainability, and the health impact of the gene therapy. Health facilities. Delivering the gene therapy. This requires a core set of specialized equipment housed with a large hospital that can provide acute cures. Manufacturing. Gene therapy. Manufacturing is a multifaceted process that involves several crucial steps from vector design to the patient administration. Workforce establishment of new position and upskilling of the current role enable the development of the other capacity pillar. Community engagement. It's essential to integrate community voice to develop better service. Finance. Let me just say that roadmap without funding is just vision. So by operating and develop capacity building require combination funding scheme. And finally, policy and regulation. This is important to ensure the safety, efficacy, and ethical consideration. We believe that genetic therapy offers hope for curing disease that disproportionately impact African population, such as the sickle cell disease. Access to genetic therapies is a crucial aspect for the modern healthcare, yet socioeconomic disparities in Africa often limited to this access, exacerbating health inequities. Ensuring equitable access to these disease therapies, it's not only a matter of justice, but also a vital step toward improving public health across the continent. By addressing financial, infrastructure, and educational barriers, we can create a modern, inclusive healthcare system that serves all socioeconomic groups. This debate will explore the strategies and policies necessary to ensure equitable access to genetic therapies across different socioeconomic African groups. Gene therapy integration. Study case in Tanzania. In Tanzania, an estimated 11,000 babies are born annually with SCD. Tanzania has integrated gene therapy into its healthcare system to ensure patients receive the right care at the right time. Tanzania has engaged stakeholders to form national, African, and international partnership to build the infrastructure, regulatory, and workforce capacity to launch a gene therapy clinical trial for sickle cell disease. We believe draft and implement policy to integrate gene therapy into its comprehensive healthcare system, such as the one have been practiced by the Tanzania, will help the patient to receive the right care at the right time.
Again, the funding mechanism. The question here is, how can African governments fund genetic therapies? Well, they could consider alternative funding, such as partnershiping with international organizations or NGOs. Now, when we take HIV/AIDS, for instance, about 67% of those that are affected are actually from sub-Saharan Africa. And as we know, the current standard care for HIV is the ART, that's the antiretroviral therapy. Well, a gene therapy could be used to cure this HIV/AIDS, where partnershiping with international organizations or NGO, for instance, if we take the Gates Foundation, is actually leading an effort to develop $1,000 to $2,000 gene therapy cure in Africa for such a disease. Also, we could implement policies to establish registries. Now, what will happen here is policies could be implemented where registry committees will be established. So these registry committees, what they will do is they will be tasked to advocate for gene therapy through data analysis. Hospitals and other institutions can also be tasked to do outreach programs and patient referrals. This will help identify patients that may not easily get access to this genetic therapy. This strategy was also implemented by the South African Cell and Gene Therapy Society. They actually established registry committees where these committees were tasked to advocate for gene therapy through data analysis. Other institutions were also tasked for outreach and the patient referral programs. Now, we could also advocate for healthcare infrastructure, that's to invest into our healthcare infrastructures. This would actually help or ensure that there's equitable access to genetic therapies across the African continent. So they could build specialized centers where genetic testing will be done and administer the therapies across various regions. Healthcare professionals will also advocate for healthcare professionals to be trained to meet the rapidly evolving gene and genomics, where they will be equipped to administer the therapies and also to provide gene or genetic counseling. This strategy was also implemented in Tanzania, where the sickle cell disease is very common or predominant. So they established medical camps, sickle cell clinics, where patients were referred and treated. So now, another important factor or strategy that can help ensure that there's equitable access to genetic therapies, coalition building. So we could foster partnerships between policymakers, governments, NGOs, private sector, and international bodies. So this network or partnership would ensure that there's shared knowledge, resources, and coordinate actions to improve access. This strong network can also advocate for sustained investment in genetic therapies and equitable access, of which Uganda also implemented such a therapy in their case where HIV is common. So they formed strategic partnership to address certain gaps, such as workforce development, hospital infrastructure, and also technology transfer. Through this partnership, they were able to get the Gates Foundation to provide funding to train researchers and build policy of care manufacturing. Ultimately, we could also advocate for policies that prioritize equitable access to genetic therapies. Now, to ensure this, work with governments to develop regulations that will ensure that there's fair distribution of this genetic therapy across various regions. in Africa. This will then prohibit discriminatory practices. So policies could be developed to gather data, to monitor disparities. So this will ensure that, or to address the inequalities. Now to our review point, the big question here is, how can African governments fund this genetic therapy? They could consider innovative funding models, such as public-private sector partnership with NGOs, partnership with international health organizations, winning grants to fund these genetic therapies. Then the cost of these genetic therapies could be subsidized. So we could subsidize this genetic therapies for the populations that are less privileged. We could also actually deal with the cultural and ethical issues regarding genetic therapies, where the public will be educated on the ethical values or issues concerning these genetic therapies and address some of their misconceptions. These genetic therapies and research to be ensured that they adhere to strict ethical rules and regulation. Also factor in the infrastructure and expert. So in essence, genetic therapy shouldn't be seen as a competitor to our primary healthcare, but then we should see it as a complement to our primary healthcare, where long-term diseases could actually be treated in a short while. So in summary, ensuring equitable access to genetic therapies across different socioeconomic African groups involves addressing complex issues such as resource allocation, ethical consideration, infrastructure development, funding mechanisms. Thank you.